vote to save doesn't need no introduction to the characters. At first, it did a good job getting rid of bland characters easily. Then it just lead to getting rid of good characters just because they either didn't do much or didn't get any screen time or being really rude during an arc. And I'm here to talk about everyone eliminated in TPOT. I might do the exiters next but not the debuters since I don't know what I could say much about them. Pi was always kind of doomed to be the one to go next. Unlike most characters, she remains on Death Pact again. And they don't really do anything to change that. They could have had her on Just Not and had like Bombi or someone on his team, and they tried to make her a different character. They kind of tried to make her more like I guess Lollipop or just more snarky and sarcastic. Or whatever she was in BFB 16. That was interesting. And they tried but for some reason, the writers really wanted her to go first so they made Death Pact again lose first. Which I would have just let teammates or just not lose first but this is fine I guess. Pi kind of was unpopular since she wasn't in BFB 4 and didn't do all that much in BFB and the writers cursed her by being on the same team. What I would do is show this snarky and witty personality way earlier on and basically make her more involved with this team. And since later on, Black Hole and Fanny, I wonder what side she would have taken. She isn't my favorite eliminated here. I feel like she's kind of forgotten since she really didn't get a chance to be loved as much as someone like Basketball or Eraser who got more fans as they got to do more, but as she stands, she was pretty alright. Foldy. You guys know I'm not a fan of Foldy. The writers after match went just gave up with Foldy and Foldy didn't do anything noteworthy in TPOT. Least characters like Barf Bag and Bell did something noteworthy. Foldy kind of just came and went. In TPOT 1 she just did nothing and TPOT 2 she basically does nothing at all. The writers just didn't want her to be interesting. They make her a fodder character. They wanted her out so badly. I feel like the writers regretted making Foldy of NGNs for no reason since she does literally nothing after this episode. I just think if they just let Stapy rejoin and instead of loser, and they go on to TPOT, then I would be more happy with that. She's not rejoining. Even someone like Pi has a higher chance of rejoining just for being wasted plus being a first boot. Foldy didn't do anything in TPOT 2. I have no idea why Marker was sad. If they really wanted to make her good, just give her a personality, I guess. Let her be really good at challenges. I mean she is literally paper, so they could have made her interesting. I don't mind her going since Eggy is good and the other at least do stuff. Even Bell does more than Foldy. Cloudy is a character I have a feeling needs no introduction. Most probably didn't expect him to get out so early. He was the first one to get out on his team. And honestly I would have preferred if Rocky went. Even here he did nothing. I'm glad Yellowface got the most votes. And I feel like there was one problem with him going. The writers should have known that separating Balloony and Cloudy was a mistake. Cause Balloony kind of does work well with his team. It's just they haven't been on screen as much to see them apart. And it's very stupid cause if you replace Ice Cube with Balloony, you would get a slightly more interesting team than what we got. Cause Cloudy wasn't even bad, he just needed his friend. And I don't see why Balloony would be in post-split anyway, he didn't even last a chance. The writers shouldn't have let them apart. I think we could have seen Balloony get further than we did in post-split. That's for sure. I just wish Cloudy did more and I also wish Balloony was on this team so we could see more of them. Like Ice Cube has more fans than Cloudy, that's for sure, and I don't care how many new lines Ice Cube gets in the new episodes. She's still a bland and boring character. At least Bottle shows some form of personality from time to time. I don't know. Balloony was a great character that was at the wrong place at the wrong time just because the writers picked favorites over picking who fits well. Like him, sure they could have just pulled a different exiter to join like Match or Pencil or even Rocky joined this season. He doesn't do anything anyway. Make him a early boot and it would work out well. Saws is one I could see happening but it's one I don't want to happen. You see, Saw 8's gag basically wasn't funny. Not even from the start. It was okay in BFB 8, but for some reason, rather than get rid of it, they just keep it. And I feel like it kind of made her a bit more hated since the writers couldn't decide on what to do with it. I feel like they could have let her die and then have it go away, cause her and Eggy rarely interacted and they're friends. I mean, Saw is basically like Bottle in a way. They're goofy and all that, but what separates Bottle from Saw is Saw 8 gag. If they really did get rid of it, it would have made her more interesting. I don't see her rejoining. Probably have more votes than someone like Foldy or Eggy since they're both unpopular. And all they would do with Saw is shout 8, and I didn't mind her elimination, and now, I still don't, since it was her and Donut actually managed to get better with TPOT 8. Wick, funny enough, is the number Saw says a lot, so I had a feeling the only real season teammates didn't lose until TPOT 8 was more so they could make sure it wasn't Donut the one going, cause I didn't want him to go, but yeah. Remote was the first semi-big character to get out since everyone I've talked about before was either unpopular or just didn't have a lot of fans. Remote has fans, and I don't like how the writers basically did nothing with her and TPOT 3 and 4. Since like she's a great character, I never liked how people call her overrated. I would say everyone besides Pi were all really popular, and between her and Fanny, I'm fine with Fanny staying since while Fanny was botted a lot. But Fanny got her time to shine in TPOT 7. I would have just let Black Hole go here. Black Hole kind of is boring. And he's really obsessed with death to the point where it's just his only personality trait. Remote got a lot of screen time in BFB, and honestly she was really good there. And TPOT 2, while a bad episode, did a lot for her. So I would think she could actually do more if she rejoins. I would say she's the most popular character out. I don't really count Rocky since most of Rocky fans are kids, so I don't count that, and I have a feeling if she would rejoin and before she say, she wouldn't cause well. Lightning. You got to remember that Leafy got out early and somehow got lucky in the rejoin, and that was cause she was really loved for some reason. And Remote has a lot of fans. And I feel like she would be the one to rejoin, and I'll be fine with that since Remote was my favorite on Death Pact again. She's still like second, and Fanny is my favorite right now, but who knows, she could join Fanny in some killing. That would be pretty fun. Nelly. Now Nelly wasn't my favorite in BFB, but she had a good run on Team Ice Cube. Here they kind of just give all her personality to Price Tag and make her mostly just bland and uninteresting. I'm sure that's really the reason she went this time. I wouldn't have minded Price Tag going first since, well, Price Tag didn't do much before and after. Price Tag being a debuter means nothing when you realize they've been boring this whole time, and I think all the other just not members at least got better over time. Nelly should have either had her BFB personality or they just try something new with her, cause if she stayed, TPOT 6 would have been her big day since that episode made Nickel, Bombi and I guess Cake better. So this episode would have made her shine a lot more, but nah, and I doubt she would be rejoining anytime soon. Since I mean Nickel and Cake have more fans, they would just try to make her the same as she was in this episode, so there's that. And Price Tag should just die. I don't care how much screen time they get. They're still a bad characters. If this was someone like Bell or Black Hole stealing personalities and all that, people would be mad, but since Price Tag is a debuter, how long do we give until Price Tag actually goes? They're the most forgettable character, and somehow the minor characters are more memorable than Price Tag, so there. I mean, Rubber Spatula seems cool compared to someone like Bland Tag. Fries. Fries. I think the writers loved Fries. They even admitted it was sad that he was the one to go, and I think I wish they started to make him and Puffball cause chaos a lot earlier, since they choose to do it while his team lost. And I liked Fries, but I'm not lying to say, he ain't the one rejoining soon, and he really shouldn't since Puffball basically got out and he has BFDI now. I don't see a single reason he needs to rejoin. If this was still TPOT 6, sure, but I don't see it happening anytime soon, and sure, Tennis Ball was kind of bad around this time. He's good now. And I feel like Fries in BFDIA is much better than he is in Teapot, since he's really probably gonna survive over Golf Ball, since this is vote to eliminate. And what else? What else? I think Fries in BFDIA is also proof he can work without Puffball. So if he rejoins, he's just gonna be there. I don't see why he should rejoin, least if Lightning rejoins. They could have some arc with Black Hole going on, but since that, they really can't with Fries. So he can't see Golf Ball and Puffball being cool friends now, so there's that. I mean, he will probably get more votes than everyone in pot 1 through 5 minus remote. Now Eggy. Eggy isn't that popular. She's been in the bottom 2 in BFB 7 and TPOT 3, so it seems like she's more of not a fan favorite. I think Teardrop and Eggy is something they could have explored a little bit more, cause TPOT 2 and BFB 4 are the only episodes they really explore it, cause it would be cool to see, but I guess Teardrop and Eraser becomes more of a thing after TPOT 3 and that's it. I mean, she was a lot more interesting than someone like Foldy and Bell. And I feel like the writers should have just tried a little bit with her than just letting her sit in the background and get eliminated. She was the least popular in BFB 13, for heaven's sake. So the writers should have taken as an wake-up call to give her something big like basketball. Basketball actually managed to get better and more relevant, and they didn't do much with Eggy after Teapot 2, so it was almost like she was gonna go anyways. As for her rejoining, that isn't happening since she's really unpopular. Not as much as Foldy, but still. So I feel like if she rejoined, they would do probably nothing with her. Now Lightning was interesting cause I used to like him, then I kinda found him boring. He kind of gained a huge fan base after breaking and basically admitting that their team losing a bunch has been really dumb and for nothing, which I like that, but outside of this episode, he's literally done nothing. Teapot 2 and 7 are the only times he's important and doing stuff. They don't do anything with him, and I guess Teapot 4, but that's it. Teapot 5 he does nothing, and if he rejoins, which I don't think is gonna happen despite all the fans he's been given. Teapot 7 probably made her more popular than Tree. Tree kind of doesn't do much in Teapot anymore, and since he's a Tree, I won't be lying if I say Tree probably gonna be the one going next. Lightning should have done more before going. I mean Teapot 5, he just sits there doing nothing, but they should have played around with Puffball and Lightning cause that was a cool thing that could branch on to a rivalry in Teapot 5 and would give Puffball some more screen time. Rather than Golf Ball and Puffball in Teapot 7 and 8, I just think the writers wasted all the potential Lightning had by not doing anything with him, cause with a character like Fries, he has BFDI to let him shine more. Lightning really doesn't, and he's not rejoining. Remote has more fans, and I feel like the only way he could rejoin is if the writers either have a double rejoin or they keep having Fanny kill more people on her team. Cause I mean, Lightning was never my favorite now, but he should have done more. Black Hole only reason for being kept is so this Fanny arc keeps going, and I just getting tired of him at this point. If he was the one going, Death Pact again would be a much better team as it is now. But they aren't, so next, Clock is next. Clock didn't deserve to go. His only real reason is the whole winner stuff from Teapot 3, and I'm gonna be real. That was 4 episodes ago. The writers should have just not had it happen or have winner knowledge it in Teapot 4. Cause I like Clock, he does more compared to someone like Bottle and Ice Cube, cause he's doing more than they do both. I guess Bottle does some things, but overall he does a lot more than those two, and Rocky too. Honestly, if I could choose, Rocky would be the one going. Clock had something going for him. People say he's bad, but he's interesting. For a team with mostly boring characters, it's such a rare thing to have a team where it seems nothing goes on. And Clock is lucky since he technically isn't eliminated, since he's in the kitchen with 4, and all that. So at least gonna have time to cool off from his hate. I like Winner, and I didn't like him getting mad for no reason. I think the Winner and Clock arc should either be resolved. I mean, look at Eraser and Teardrop. Eraser been trying to get rid of Teardrop and make her lose, and when she loses, they are cool again. The writers just want you to hate Clock, or they just hated Clock. I'm sure they wanted Rocky to go. The S. Lost right after losing Teapot 6 so back to back, and I feel like if Clock rejoins, They could actually retry to change him and clear his hate, but that's not happening. Maybe Winner and Clock can make up. I really want them to. I mean, Clock didn't deserve to go. And I don't want Yellowface going next since he does more than Ice Cube and Bottle, and since people like voting off characters that do stuff and not these bland characters. Also, I guess I should mention Clock was a bit of a fanboy in BFB and all that, so it's not like the writers pulled this out of nowhere. He's cool and he even participates in challenges compared to someone like Rocky who does nothing but vomit and just sit there. He's bland. And his blandness leads to him finally being eliminated in TPOT 8. Now let's talk about that. Cake is one I kind of forget to do, but Cake did more than Nelly and I kind of didn't feel sad at his elimination. Cake wasn't my favorite. I'm kind of glad they ditched the whole loser fanboy stuff in BFB and don't bring it back. And I would say he did really great on this team, cause it means he didn't have to rely on loser and they gave him a new personality. And I love this Cake more than BFB Cake. I would have preferred if Price Tag going, since Price Tag does nothing of note in these new episodes. People just say they got a personality cause they're speaking more. That's really it. If a character like Loser had more lines, people would be saying he got a personality now. Price Tag getting more screen time but no personality. But Cake kind of was better and I wanted to see him. Maybe he could lead the team. Cause he's great and I like to see more of him, cause as much as I hate to admit it, Bombi got 10,000 votes for nothing really in TPOT 9. So there's that. He won't rejoin, but he has a higher chance to rejoin than someone Nelly, Foldy or Eggy. I think since the voting to rejoin would be more like a popularity contestant. So I would say he would have a couple votes. And now Rocky. Rocky kind of sucks. Rocky doesn't do much and it seems like he and Grassy would get a lot of votes for doing nothing, but Grassy actually managed to improve upon with TPOT 7, and so the writers proved they can actually make Grassy worth a character, and Grassy actually seems to do stuff with Rocky. He vomits and that's it. That's literally he does. In BFDI, it's actually useful, while in TPOT, they don't really use it for anything. And sure, he can vomit certain things, but that's it. And between him and Ice Cube, I would say Ice Cube at least does something. And it seems people got tired of him since BFDI and TPOT. He's eliminated back to back. People says he's overhated, but people forget that Rocky does literally nothing. If they tried to give him new lines, or give him some form of personality, I'm sure I could see Rocky actually improving, but they never did that and he's eliminated very quick, and I don't want him to rejoin since they'll just do literally no tying with him. And the writers know it, you know it. He's been eliminated 3 times, BFDI, and TPOT. And that's fine by me. Now Puffball, interesting one. TPOT 1 and 2 she didn't do much. But starting with TPOT 3 and onward, she started to do a lot, and the writers did a great job with her, from sabotaging Death Pact again, messing with just not in TPOT 5, and all that. Why did she got? Because TV fans like botting him 50,000 times for breathing, and TV doesn't even do anything. Puffball actually did a lot through TPOT 4 through 8, and unlike Fries who has BFDI still, she doesn't cause of her forced elimination in BFDI, and someone like Tennis Ball who managed to improve over time. TV just exists. I feel like he should have been the one going, cause what's gonna change if TV goes? Nothing. If you remove TV and keep Puffball, you would lose literally nothing. Cause with someone like Lightning, we got an arc with Fanny and Black Hole. The writers are just gonna pretend she didn't exist. And like I said, TV doesn't do nothing, and while I find Penn really boring, at least Penn speaks a lot. TV speaks, but they don't feel interesting as they made him out to be in TPOT 5. Speaking of that episode, how come that's the only episode TV is the most important in? Cause you remove him out of any other episode and nothing would change. Cause Puffball at least could have provided more sabotaging, and I really wish they did more of it with Golf Ball in TPOT 7 and 8, but it's too late. Puffy was cool. Coiny is kind of interesting since most people would have assumed he went. I would say the writers were surprised. I think just like Lightning, he kind of did one good thing. Pin really got to shine and that's, but unlike Lightning, I actually liked Coiny and I feel like Coiny easily would have survived if A, he got a lot of screen time in TPOT 8 and B, Barfbag wouldn't get botted a lot for doing literally nothing. That's something I've mentioned, but Barfbag gets spotted a lot. I don't know why she gets spotted a lot. She's usually does nothing or kind of just sitting around. It's confusing, cause Barfbag doesn't do much. Coiny has BFDI at the very least. He isn't completely gone. I would say he has more of a chance of rejoining than someone like Saw since he's got way more fans than Saw, obviously, so I don't know. The writers did a great job with Pin in TPOT 9, but it didn't have to be this way. But I like how they let Pin shine some more now that Coiny is gone, and that's the only good thing his elimination has done. Would anything change if Barfbag went? I mean, the challenge would still happen and I feel like nothing big would change. What else? What else? I think it's funny how Nickel and Coiny are getting eliminated back to back. Nickel in Inanimate Insanity 17, Coiny here and Nickel again in TPOT 10 maybe? So it's pretty funny to see it happen back to back. I just hope Coiny doesn't go in BFDI since that's like his best season there. And I don't see that cause of the voting system. Rocky was hated to the point where people just wanted him out and Coiny had some fans. Now we got like 2 more characters left. And finally Teardrop. Teardrop is the latest character to be eliminated. She's been in every season. BFDI, BFDIA, pre-split. And this and post-split have been the most she's done in a season. This season she just gets to join this season and that's it. Post-split she gets far as in the final 3, and I originally thought she would have gotten far as in past the merge, but TPOT 8 kind of foreshadows her elimination by saying if she loses, she's automatically eliminated. And I find it funny now since the writers say they would never take the vote away from the viewer, yet they just eliminate her like that. I just like her rivalry with Eraser was good and it came to a soiled end. Teardrop sacrifices herself since her being inside zombie Barfbag absorbs the vomit and it means she loses. She saves everyone but sacrifices herself and I like that. And it ends with this warming Eraser stuff. I didn't hate Teardrop. TPOT 2 kind of did the most and then the episodes after kind of just had her in the background. TPOT 6 I guess let her do the most. They should have kept the chaotic Teardrop in TPOT 2, cause that was her peak. And I don't know. The Teardrop and Eraser stuff is great. I'm glad they brought it back in TPOT 8. TPOT 6 and 7 don't have it. And I would say the only reasons is these challenges don't have chaotic feels with it. Now I was originally gonna talk about Nickel but I'm too lazy to just do that, so I'm just gonna say. He was bad in BFB and bad early on in TPOT and got better over time. Now who do I want to remote? My top 3 would be Puffball, Remote or Coiny. The thing with these eliminations is the characters like Foldy and Eggy are gonna get barely any votes and someone like Rocky would get a couple of votes. I feel like a double rejoin would be cool since double elimination. Double rejoin? Who really knows? The writers could just do a challenge rejoin like they did in BFDI 14 and choose who they want to rejoin. We got like 15 contestants gone. That's a lot compared to post-split and pre-split, so that's an improvement.